All right, I think we can go ahead and start now.
Yeah, absolutely. Memo, we're first of all happy to be connected. My name is Tim Korshnov. I work with the organization. My background is, I'm involved on a few businesses with the partners that we have helping run this nonprofit. This is like our passion project at this point. We're just happy to put our energy towards something that's making an impact with Gen Z. As you know, sort of liberal and woke ideologies are sort of kind of running away at the fabrics of our society in a lot of capacities, and that's particularly visible with my generation. Kim and Liam, who are the co-founders, got together, started this organization to essentially take social media influencers and have them promote to the youth and to the younger generation through a way that conservatives in the United States and really across the globe haven't done before. And so that's the mission of our organization, just give an alternative point of view to young people, and just, the wokeness that's really kind of plaguing our society in a lot of capacities. I've seen you've been pretty vocal about the issue, so I'd love to first of all get a background on you and just your stances with this. And I know you're from Mexico, so just tell me a little bit about where you're based and the whole thing, the whole story.
Well, first of all, thank you for the intro. Thank you for inviting me to talk with you guys. Maybe for now it's going to be a brief intro of what you guys do and what I do over here in Mexico. I'll give you a little bit of a backstory. I come from a family which is the fifth generation of, company or business owners or self-made people that made it in different businesses throughout their lifetime. In my personal experience and what I have been doing is personally growing other businesses that have to do or that might grow along the line of what I've been learning when I was a kid, or by sitting down on the lunch table with my father, my grandfather, and my uncle. And these type of things or businesses that I've launched have been on a obviously pro-capitalist way of thinking, and a pro-libertarian and a pro-freedom, basically, which is something that is being very limited in our world nowadays, as you might know. Not only in China or in North Korea, but also sadly in the United States. That has been happening in the latest or recent years throughout different administrations, not in one specifically. So I am sure that you've noticed and you've seen how sometimes they embrace the word of order and law and security and safeness for everyone. They kind of shadow it and camouflage that. They say that's that. And below, what do we have? A total huge agenda of controlling people, censoring their ideals and beliefs and whatever they want to get across the table or across the world, or whatever they want to opine about. Which in reality, if you think about it, there's nothing wrong with opinionating on a topic. You're not doing anything. You're just speaking. It's different speaking, doing, and actually affecting. Because you can say tomorrow, hey, I hate this, or I don't like that, or I agree with this idea and I don't with this one, or I would not like you to be here, or something. That's just saying. I'm not doing anything, all right? I'm not breaking the law, or I'm not doing anything aggressive to this people or to any organization or group or whatever you want to focus on. And I think starting from what I started and what we're saying is, it's very sad that this has been going on in the latest years of the U.S., for example, which is a nation that I personally praise and obviously admire from you guys, your culture, your work culture, your work ethics, your values, your family values and morals. All this woke culture and all this woke bullshit, basically, has everyone getting confused. Recently, I was looking at a video of a woman saying that a lot of people get the wrong idea of having gender equality with gender sameness. You know what I mean? It's very different to say we are equal in gender with equal rights, for example, which I agree. Okay, equal under law, equal under rights, or whatever. Okay, I agree with that. But we don't have equal sameness, or you know what I mean? We don't have gender sameness because we're different. Men and women are different. We cannot say, it's like saying, oh, tomorrow I want to be a woman, okay, well, go have a baby then. Can I have a baby? I don't think I can have one. I need to have a woman to have a baby. You know what I mean? We have a family, etc. It's like saying, well, tomorrow I want to be a whale. Well, as much as I want to be a whale, if you grab me and put me 2,000 feet underwater, my lungs are going to explode and I'm going to be able to move or swim or anything. So it's funny how they try to put all these ideas into different groups of people, especially young children and young people in general, that they want to distort, transform, and confuse the mind of when something is real, when something is free, and when something is safe. They camouflage it with all this bull crap, and that's what kind of sickens me nowadays. And I think it's great that you guys put out a voice or a word out for what's going on. And I'm here to if you ask me anything about it, or we want to attack a specific topic, I'm happy to do so. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Memo, first of all, I appreciate that introduction, and you have a absolutely fascinating story in those views. I mean, they definitely align with what we're doing. But just to tell you a little bit about myself, I'm Russian myself, and I've moved here to the United States when I was very, very young.
Oh.
And so, my family was still in a very, more or less prosperous position in Russia and whatnot. And so, but I grew up around sort of the towns which were impacted by socialism and communism quite heavily. And so I understand what the distortion of reality and the bringing in of certain ideologies does to a society. And so that's why, I'm involved in what I'm involved here in the United States. I'd love to hear how it is in Mexico, really, because I'm on other business projects and things like that, I'm getting involved in the Mexican markets and things like that. But I'm curious to the culture of the people and the general views on this woke stuff that's happening. Because if you see the Mexican individuals that come into the United States, it's usually people who are with very hardworking, with sort of conservative values, and just Hispanics across the board, really, Cubans and others as well.
So here's the thing. There's two things that you kind of talked about that have a very, very solid point that I want to get across and for you to understand what the situation of Mexico is like regarding these woke topics or regarding these groups of people that feel stressed, anxious, or not happy with how they're not equal or whatever you want to talk about. No. First of all, here in Mexico, we have real problems. What is a real problem? Okay, what is a real problem? You tell me. Real problems are, for example, I live in a state which is called Nuevo León, and we don't have water right now. I mean, there's some buildings that have water, like my office has water because we pay for a boiler system or water, supply that we have for extra. But if I want to open the water now in a little plaza or whatever, a garage that's here, for example, giving service to cars, water won't come out. Because right now we have a shortage of water. And why do we have a shortage of water? Because infrastructure has not been put into practice, into work the last 6, 12 years, has not been done correctly. And for whatever reasons, the politicians or the governments or the governor has not, got his head into got his plan approved or something. So imagine we come in and this is, I'm talking about one of the richest states in the country, you know what I mean? Per capita. Like, people here win much more money per month, or their salaries are much higher than the rest of the country by far. So imagine that. No, so first of all, you say, okay, here that's a real issue. We don't have time for bullshit. We don't have time to be stressing about if I want to be called a girl or an it or an alien or a whale or a tree. We don't have that time. We cannot stress over crap. You know what I mean? So the sooner and the quicker that you get out there, that you get people out there trying to survive or trying to thrive in a situation where we have real issues that we have to actually address, take care of, and move forward to solve them, the sooner people will revert immediately to their roles that they have in as society or as men and women. The quicker a woman is going to say, hey, okay, I need to do my stuff in order to get this family straight. You need to go to work or find a way to get water into my house, or else we're going to, die out of, thirst, or wash, shower the baby, etc. And that's kind of the situation in Mexico. And in other states, they have other problems. They have other maybe the food is kind of short here or there. Their crops are not growing the way they wanted, or they're getting taxed. The business. Our new president is very hard on taxes. I don't know. We have a lot of stuff that we need to address and worry about before we even start considering gender sameness, which is what is a lot of people trying to shoved down their throat of new generations. That's one thing. And the other thing is, as much as you tell me you came from a Russian background, and you say you came to the U.S. with a hope, obviously, well, maybe not you, but your parents or your grandparents or your background.
Me and my parents.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, you say, well, America has always been the place and the standard of freedom, equality, the good equality, though, not the sameness that they try to feed people. Land of the free, etc. That is how a lot of people over here in Mexico also view the U.S. because it's our neighbor, it's our big brother. We work together in many ways, and we actually are thankful for it. But the thing is that there's a certain place in certain jobs or salaries of people or structures or directors or certain organizations where they feel that they can make more money much quicker and develop themselves professionally in a quicker or bigger scale if they go to the U.S. Okay, which is probably true if you're working for big corporations such as everyone that is in the stock exchange, or to name a few. No, and it's probably true, but in reality, if you think about, for example, the Chinese coin, in the past they had a coin that says crisis on one side of the coin. You flipped it around and it says opportunity. So what does this mean? It says in every crisis there's an opportunity. And obviously a lot of people don't like the uncertainty of how they're evolving or how they're going about their lives in these third worlds or these developing economies like the ones that we have in Mexico. And they say, you know what, I'd rather play it safe and have a bigger salary immediately working in Seattle for Microsoft or whatever, or in California or in Palo Alto with whatever certain reason. But the real men that actually, get the carriage rolling and move the engines of a company and corporations, I think it's us that stay here, and try to figure out what we can do for our people. And in the same way that in the U.S., other people say, I'm going to stay here and work here because I don't want to put my company in an offshore Grand Cayman Island and, pay less taxes or whatever. Because in the U.S., taxes are used much more efficiently than they're used here. So that's another topic. And a lot of people, and like I said, a lot of people in certain areas that win certain wages or that win, I say win because, they get paid a bit more or whatever. Under those brackets, they say, I'd rather go to the U.S., work, probably even work less and get a better salary and live a higher quality of life. That's what they believe, and that's, some of them do it and make it. And a lot of others, guess what? They come back to Mexico and say, you know what? I thought it was going to be somehow, but it's not. Because they say, over there I get paid, whatever, $1,000 a week by putting, or I don't know, each 15 days by putting on a roof, so water doesn't come down your roof, for to give an example. Okay, but guess what? It's not going to be, it's not going to be $20 a week for you to feed yourself. It's going to be 200 or 300 to go to the supermarket or something. And that's the difference, People don't put that into their minds, and that's why sometimes they go and come back. But to answer your question about the Mexican economies or the, family economies and the problems or the issues that we have over here regarding the ones that you have in the U.S., they're very different. So we have less time to focus on bull crap and less time even to focus on our real problems. So that's why we attack those first, so that you get an idea.
Memo, that's very well said. And generally speaking, just seeing it over the course of this call, it seems like we align very well. And honestly, we'd love to get you involved with our organization because we have about 400 influencers right now. We have great spokespeople that we have on behalf of the ideas that you and I are just discussing here. We'd love for you to also do some interviews or some calls with them as well, if that's something that you're open to in the future. It seems to me at least that you have definitely a passion and an interest for spreading these ideas, and I honestly, where does that come from for you? And that's, I don't know, if you could just go into that a little bit more. Or are you interested in just getting involved in politics?
Well, in reality, the thing is that in Mexico, since we have real issues that we have to take care about and stuff like that, the last thing we need is all this woke culture coming in and invading and, just messing with the gears of a machine that is barely starting to work and grind with different companies, organizations, and people throughout Mexico.
Yeah.
So yes, you have all these people that they go and march and they make all these settlements and they're mad, but in reality, you look at them and they're mad at themselves because they're not making it the way they're supposed to make it, and that's my take on it. And I see all these people. I've never seen a woke being happy with who they are. So it's pretty weird, no? And that's what I'm saying. So where does it come from? Where does my encouragement come from to get this message out, such as the ways that you guys think and other presidents that the U.S. has had that think the same way as you and I, and hopefully the next one would be something similar, but not the one that you guys have now. I know, unfortunately. But why does it come to my mind and why does it matter? Because the last thing we need is these these ideas, penetrating our culture, our work scheme, and our ways that we develop as a company or as a country into prosperity, and having situations of success more than situations of these type of ideas invading and just trampling with our roads to success. That's basically what worries me, and from what I have seen and how these new generations are being raised and how they come up with. I mean, a lot of people sometimes ask me, "Hey, Memo, I see you have no tattoos. Are you have something against people with tattoos?" I say, "No, I don't judge a book by its cover. I never judge a book by its cover." Like right now, I was having a haircut and there's this kid painting his head pink. And I asked him, "Why are you painting your head pink?" He's like, just because it's summer or whatever. So I was chatting with him. He's a normal guy, he's a nice kid. He's not crazy or anything, And I don't judge a people by its appearance or by their appearance or a book by its cover. But I'm just being conscious of what is being fed throughout all the mass media and all the all this misinformation coming about, confusing people. I'm trying to make something to kind of stop it or break it back and have us more focused on success as corporations, as persons, and as a country. That's why we do it. I'm interested in this, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Memo, I mean, like personally, just out of curiosity, what sort of businesses do you manage now? I mean, like, what's your like day to day? What companies do you work with?
Well, basically, what I've been working the last 9 years have been financial advisory and consultation for companies or for developing companies. Asesoría financiera, which is financial advisory in corporations or in companies in general throughout the country in Mexico. And personal financial advice also. I have some clients that they want to invest here, there, whatever. I take care of investments, what that I do. That's one thing. And the other is I've been in construction for the last 12 years. I have a company that deals with different types of construction. And I know I deal with a lot of people that are out there, on the street, for example, working wires, I don't know how you call it in English, but all these materials that we have, like cement, steel construction, materias primas, which is called the primary, forgot the name in English. Sometimes the words, I speak good English, but sometimes a word escapes.
You're good.
Raw materials, okay? So I work with people that deal a lot with raw materials. So I know hand labor very well in Mexico. I know what their struggles are. I know how they feel about what's going on in the rest of the country. And there are a lot of people out there that I've worked with that they're very hard workers. So I deal with construction basically, finance, and a little bit of telecom, which is related to construction, which is a lot of wiring and fiber optic that we do also, and develop and build around the country for networks. No, and basically that's why I've been seeing different people of different spheres of the country and mindsets, and most of them are like, what, I don't have time for bullshit. I need to work. I need to get on with my family. We can't have all this drama right now. A year ago, there was this guy or girl. Honestly, I don't know if it was a girl or a guy, or a boy or girl. He was in a classroom and he was saying, or she was saying, that she wanted to be called, instead of saying, for example, because in Spanish we have, like, for a friend we have an A or an O. No, so if I call you a frienda, you're like a friend girl. If I call you a friend O, you're a guy friend, you know. And this person just wanted to be called friend, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
he or she wanted to be addressed as nothing or as whatever this person has in their mind or his mind. And everyone just started cracking up on him, just started laughing at him or her, like, bro, what are you saying? Like, you are, I forgot if it was a guy or a girl, like, you are this, like, you don't understand. She started crying, like, no, I'm going to be called a friend and a friend. It's like, Jesus. I mean, you don't have time for that. So everyone in the classroom was like, hey, we don't have time for your bullshit. We have our problems. This is not a problem. We have real problems in this developing country that is Mexico. And we need to address this as a team and as a classroom and as individuals that want to strive for opportunity and success in life, other than be dealing with like a crybaby with bullcrap that doesn't exist, basically. So
Absolutely. Well, yeah, that's very interesting. In the United States, I think it was Joe Biden who started promoting it on a massive scale. It was the term Latinx, as in not Latino or Latina, Latinx.
My God.
As in removing masculine and feminine pronouns.
Exactly, something like that, along those lines. My God.
It's crazy. Memo, I didn't anticipate bringing this up, and this is not part of like an interview or anything. But over here with Today's America, the other two guys are Cam and Liam, and we're actually right now working also on a company it's a Silicon Valley startup with a few Facebook and Ancestry executives, as well as some fairly large entrepreneurs, and we're going to be doing kind of like a dual card linkage system between Mexico and the United States, particularly for immigrants to send money back home with kind of like a free remittance structure, if you will, through a forex scheme. You just mentioned you were involved in finance. So I was just curious what you do with respect to that, because it seems like maybe there's some synergies there.
Well, I'm actually working right now with a partner that we have from Miami. I can't say much, but we are actually working with two companies right now, working remittances back and forth the U.S. in a very, very kind of modern way of doing it throughout an app and all this. Working with that and also doing that, and that's pretty interesting. What I do based on the finance side, I also do loans to specific companies or clients of mine that they need loans for a payroll, but not necessarily because they can't pay their payrolls, but because they want the liquidity to invest more in the growth of the business, for example. So we do that, and yes, we're working with remittances as well. Structure and legality of the issues is changing all the time. Like in the U.S., like they're regulating the NFTs and doing like all this like inside information about NFTs and insider trading. So it's fairly new. Like that is over there in the U.S. regarding NFTs. That's us over here with the remittances and apps, for example. So in crypto, obviously. So we're working along those lines, and it's something that interests me. And yes, maybe we can do something together, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Are you doing consumer remittances or B2B? I mean, like, you said Miami, that reminds me, is it a company called Majority if it's consumer? Because I know they're based in Miami.
Well, I can't say which company it is, but it's over there.
Right.
And no, it's not consumer remittances. It's basically, mostly for the most part, it's, for example, say that grandma lives over here in Mexico and she has Juan over there in LA working. And Juan wins whatever amount of money or earns any amount of money during the weekend. He wants to send 20% or 30% or the whole shebang to grandma over here, no? So what we do is we help him throughout a structure that we have to be able to send that money over here to grandma, and she can take it out in a lot of places in Mexico, not necessarily a bank, for example. Or make use through the app, make use of it for other stuff here in Mexico also. So we kind of do work with that.
Very cool. Yeah, we've seen at least our group has looked at a lot of those obviously competitors and people in the industry and whatnot. You have Remitly, you have all of these big companies and whatnot, and what we kind of found is that sort of the push and pull send and request system for us. We don't think it's been optimized to the highest extent for the consumer, and so what we're trying to do is more of a linkage, because in a dual economy, rather than a send and request through a connected bank account and cards for individuals. So essentially instant spend, instant money gets onto the card and things like that. No need to send a request. I'd love to maybe some other time talk to you about it more in details, because
Yeah.
it looks like you're quite the expert on it.
I mean, I'm not the expert. I'm not the one that developed the technology at all, but I have all these businesses or clients or people that I know that might be interested in this service, in these services. So my partner is the one that's the pro at the development of the software and all. But we work together. That's why we work together. I work over here with him, and he's over there in the U.S. developing all the software and apps and everything. So yeah, but yeah, we can look on that in the near future. And I think for now, I think this has been a good intro for us. I'm happy to see that you guys at Today is America do this type of work, and it's very interesting and admiring from you coming from Russia, your background in Russia.
Yeah.
Very pro-American, and I think that's something that a lot of people gives a big lesson to a lot of people that are 100% American, because there's no such thing except the natives. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, I think it's something that I'm glad to see and hear, and I think the ways that you guys have grown on the last 100 years in the U.S., or at least 50 or 80 years. It's a big lesson to countries like Mexico and other countries in Latin America that, you know, kind of start getting the bad ideology of the leftist and this and that and equalness and whatever. And equalness sometimes means, for them or for whoever, means taking more from the rich so they have less and we have more. And well, who's creating the wealth? You know what I mean? Why do they have it? Because they're creating it. So I think it's a long topic, but we can get along that later. And for now, I think it's a good intro to meet you. And thanks again.
Yeah, Memo, absolutely. Thank you again for your time. I really appreciate it. You seem to be like an extremely smart individual that knows what he's doing and doing right by the right ideas. So, I'd love to set up perhaps some other interviews with you between our influencers and just our people. See just other ways to get you involved with this cause, because, there's a lot of entrepreneurs in the United States, and it looks like in Mexico as well, who believe in these things. So, we're really, part of our organization is the influencers, but the other part is a group of like entrepreneurs like myself. We have folks in Miami, New York, California, wherever it is, business people in all industries, from tech to finance to whatever it is, who believe the same things. And so another part for us on Today's America is also facilitating a business community who believes in the same values that we do, and to promote collaboration with companies, with things in general, as like a social circle for people who really think the same way, if that makes sense. So, we do the activism, but we also do sort of like the social aspect of things. So we'd love to have you involved in both, and I look forward to continuing the conversation.
Yeah, we'll keep in touch, Tim. Thank you for your time as well. Thank you for thinking about me and inviting me to have a call with you. I'll send you the video as well, so you can have it, and feel free to share anything you want. And we'll keep in touch, and I'll give you I think you have my email already. So yeah, I'll send you my number or anything. Absolutely. We're here, and thanks again. Have a good one.
Yeah, take care.
Take care.